Let me call her back. Let's see. We have.
I don't think I hit a mute.
Really? Well, I've seen you drive. You could have very well hit a mute. You know. Okay. Let's see. Let's see our technical advisor here. Hello, technical advisor. Can you hear it? Can you hear me now?
You are now 555.
Okay,
we got sound.
Yeah. Did you get that hitting the mute comment?
No, maybe that's a good thing though.
Yeah. All right. Same thing with the Brooke Shields deal. So, thank you, Kat.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye for a while.
Okay, so we're back. All right.
Okay. Well,
I apologize. Don't know where we lost you or if we started without sound. I was fumbling with the camera phone before. I must have turned something down or off.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Well, anyway,
It's your birthday. You're allowed.
It's my birthday.
You're allowed to be forgiven any sins.
I didn't even make it out of the first day.
Yeah, you got a complete dispensation for today.
And for those of you who don't know, this is our new being that's going to be here in the show with us. We don't have a name for him, her, or it, or this being.
They.
We don't have a name for they yet. So send them in, type them in, whatever you think this person looks like. I'll give you a little more. There you go. So you can see the whole thing. Big feet like that. And then
4 toes though.
4 toes like Fred Flintstone.
3 fingers, 1 thumb.
Here's the booty shot. Got to get that. Got the big Anunnaki head. That's some nice pecs.
Yeah, but you get that. I wouldn't want that looking down my ass.
And it's kind of got a little Dr. Seuss face.
Yeah, he just finished the probe.
You know, every week the probe shows.
Can't get away from it.
Well, anyway, okay, I'm glad we got sound. Thank you very much. So, if you think of a name for our friend, go ahead and type it in. We'd love to hear your suggestions, and we'll name them next week because we'll be doing the show the day after the election. So, or the first part of it or whatever. The shit should be pretty real next Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's the 28th of October. Currently, Philadelphia is on fire with some other towns. There's a lot of looting and all that stuff and rioting. And apparently, what's the cause of this one?
I don't know.
Did somebody else get shot? Or?
No. I just think they got tired of not doing it, so they went back to do it again.
They just got pissed. Yeah. Was it the Supreme Court justice thing?
It could be anything.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody took a left-hand turn and...
those left-hand turn people. I've had it to hear with them. Okay, folks. So, yeah, pretty much out there. It's going to be a little chaotic for a while, I believe. I got that feeling. This isn't just going to... we've got all kinds of mindsets out there right now. I mean, I love my hippie empathic friends. I mean, they really are trying to live above this, live with a higher level of consciousness, try to understand the lost pattern that we've landed in here. And they just think that one day, soon, it's all just going to melt away and we'll be walking through green fields and singing happy days. I love that part. I hope they're right. You know,
like Janis Joplin told us, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
Boy, yeah. Well, and then there's the other part of it is like, this is a complete satanic mass murder takeover. I mean, it's, and everything in between, and every gradients of all this, the Agenda 21, all the big master things that come into play here, and QAnon and non-QAnon and all the news and only half the news and Hunter Biden and not Hunter Biden. And if their goal was a shredded, loose end, ragamuffin news condition. They have achieved that. We don't know who to believe. We don't know who to trust. And frankly, what about you? So
take me with you.
Hey, how much is a ride? Anyway, so, folks, like we say on the show every week, all this vibration, all this negativity, all this looting and rioting and all this other stuff, this is very low level vibration, okay? And it's all funded and it's all, this isn't people reacting out of raw gut. This is people going, okay, go. They're being instructed. This is I don't know, it echoes of a coup d'etat, but you don't have to stay down there. Limit your television watching, especially your network media news, and then seek. There's better sources. There's better people telling you more stuff. And now you got another wave of censoring coming through. And if your stories are getting censored, you're obviously hitting a nerve. My guys Corbett and Richie from Boston, and there's a handful of guys that I watch and pay attention to, and they've all got great. And David Icke, they just threw him totally off the channel, you have to have that side of the news. I mean, you have to have a full spectrum of information from pablum down mainstream media to the spooky stuff. You got somewhere in the middle is the truth. All this spooky stuff isn't completely horseshit either, because there's evidence of all these things happening. Just recently, they had the big, the Nexvium, whatever that child sex trafficking ring. The guy got 120 years in prison.
Yeah. It's a sad story all the way around. I almost feel some sympathy for him. He kind of grew up in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Tortured childhood and all that kind of stuff, and all relates, not all, but a good deal of it relates back to what happened to you as a child and your upbringing. I think there's really no denying that, especially after seeing the Robert Crumb, documentary last night.
Yeah, tell the audience about that a little bit.
Yeah, for those who don't know who Robert Crumb is, we got Erin calling here. We can go to that later. So
okay,
pick up there.
Yeah, well, just it's a good documentary on Robert Crumb, and the basic synopsis of that is this is how adults act out that have frustrated sex-oriented childhoods.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's just all sad, straight across the board. Hi, Erin. How you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Yes, our second. That's the second interview with Erin Montgomery, and she wrote a book, "Confessions of an Alien Contactee."
There you go. You can show it off to the people. So
yes.
Talk about
Confessions of an Alien Contactee, Dirty Little Secret. Erin wrote this book. She is a resident of Roswell, New Mexico, and has a fascinating story that we started last week, and we're going to finish it up tonight here. And
I think we ended up with talking about the cover of the book, which she actually did herself and painted, and like a lot of those contactees and experiencers, much like Carl Jung, was a painter experiencer. So
okay.
And that's not official. I've only heard that by way of his granddaughter, but that's a whole nother story. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, Erin, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you for having me back on.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, let's see. There'll be some people that tuned in last week, and they'll kind of be a little bit up to speed with what's going on. Can you and there may be people listening in for the first time on this show, so can you kind of bring everybody up to speed, a brief synopsis of what your book is about and how long this has been going on, and the elevator pitch.
Right. This book is it describes my progress from being terrified and traumatized by ET contact experience all the way to acceptance and starting to invite it into my life instead of hiding away from it and trying to pretend it doesn't exist. So this book really does document that process that I went through to come to terms with what's going on. I've been a contactee my entire life. My earliest memory is from around 4. Of course, that is just a little flash in my mind. I have had some hypnotic regression that has brought forth other memories and in much more detail from about the age of 7 and then around the age of 10 or 11 that have really helped solidify this as truth for me. Not that I doubted it really, but yeah, and I'm part of a family that has this happen. My grandfather, my father, and his sister have had sightings, if not contact, and then myself, a couple of cousins, my brother have had experiences, and then my children are having experiences as well.
Well, wow. So thank you for writing the book that you did and expressing yourself so completely, because there's a lot of people that have had experiences that don't really know how to handle them. And I know you go through a big spectrum of what you thought was going on and what was really going on, and some of your fears were founded, some of them unfounded. It's beautiful the way you took us through this experience, and thank you. And we do have we're on in many markets across the world, and a lot of it is our CE5 groups from all across, from Tasmania to Belgium to, what's the new one?
Bulgaria.
Yeah. So, and there are people that do need to know how to handle this, and I think your book gives them just enough leaven without preaching at them, but offering enough relatable information that it may help. Again, the title of the book is Confessions of an Alien Contactee, Dirty Little Secret by Erin Montgomery. And it's a fascinating read. And we kind of left off last week. Where were you age-wise when we were in your 20s, 30s?
Heck, I don't remember.
Well, I'll refresh the group here.
Okay.
I'm the resident nerd. We had just stopped talking about John Mack, which miraculously the video came up on John Mack's, the history of John Mack and his life as a psychiatrist at Harvard. And it was kind of funny because I talked to Erin that week, and then all of a sudden the video comes up. I'd seen it many years ago.
Right.
But, so I sent it to her. And where we left off last time was, I believe it was page 62, where you stated, I knew I must heal myself.
Mm-hmm.
And which was somewhere around the central theme of the book. You had been talking about, what you had experienced and how things had changed with you, and how you're going to proceed from that point.
Yes. Okay. So that really is just recent. It has taken me this long to get to that point where I know what it is I need to do. And the regressions and working through the trauma and the PTSD, of course, that all started 5 years ago. So it's a lot of pain and fear and terror until very recently. I started to purposely work on it and put it to bed.
Erin, you said a lot of fear and terror. If an episode of that happened, can you describe that to our listeners? What would you consider a bad night? What would that be like with you?
The number one bad night that I can think of was it happened to be at the time of the Roswell UFO Festival. Oftentimes I have heightened experiences or maybe even just memories coming back during those times. I had just met Yvonne Smith, who would later do the regressions, and I remember being taken out of my room in this strange, I can't even think of what they are, like a stretcher almost, but it was folded around me, like really tall sides, and I was being walked through the wall of my bedroom.
Okay.
I could see, myself penetrating the wall, and thought, oh, that's cool. And then I was out. I was gone. The next moment that I remembered, I was awakened by excruciating pain as if I was in labor. Okay. And, having had 2 children, I know what that feels like. It's not fun.
Right.
It does not feel good. And I was able to maneuver my head around. I could see that there was a surgical barrier set up around my abdomen, so I could not see my feet or below. I could not move my shoulders. I was strapped down onto a cot. It wasn't even like a surgical table or anything like that I'm used to having. There was other people in the room. I could hear other women calling out in pain. As I was able to look side to side, I saw there were other cots with other women, and there were beings around me. It is funny because after we finished talking last week, I had forgotten that there were tall grays involved, and it was rereading that section of the book like, oh gosh, there they are. I did say tall grays. That's funny. But that's the nature of trauma and memory, and it's all in and out. Mm-hmm. I can remember sometimes, and I wrote that bit in a moment of clarity, which I am very glad to have had. But there was also a female presence near the top, near my head to help keep me calm through the procedure that was happening, which was the removal of a fetus. And the thing that was the most horrifying about this, not necessarily the pain, not necessarily being strapped down, it was the fact that there was a human, or he appeared human, in military garb, I would say maybe early 60s, buzz cut, gray hair, carrying, he's in fatigues with a white lab coat, and he was carrying a clipboard, sort of surveying the room. And I tried to yell at him, tried to, hey, get me out of here, help me. And he looked at me, but then looked away like I didn't even matter. And that moment was horrible.
Okay.
Yeah, did you feel like your government had betrayed you?
Absolutely.
Wow. Now,
I felt like cattle at that point.
As you were experiencing this, did you feel conscious at the time, or did this or was this recollected, or this is like play by play?
This is play by play. Okay. I mean, I remembered it upon waking in the morning, everything that had happened, but it was very visceral, very real. The pain was real. I wasn't dreaming. Being able to see the colors and the attention to detail of some of the things. Of course, I forgot the tall gray beings that were assisting, but it was very real.
Wow. And was there any physical remnant of their presence on you?
Yes, I had bruises on the inside of my thigh, which I often have, like fingerprints on the inside of both of the thighs. And then I had been crying so much during that I had little broken blood blisters all over my eyelids and across my nose, which happens to me if I'm just bereft.
Gotcha.
Now we got to clarify too that this experience was not a CE5 where you were initiating contact. No. This was an actual abduction, and based on what you've said before, especially the guy with the clipboard, there always seems to be, and this is not uncommon with your case, there always seems to be, not always, but there's a lot of association with military people in doing these abductions. At least that's been my observation over the past years. And and it's got to be a very scary experience where where you're actually being abducted and your own military is involved or humans are involved, you would think you would be able to rely on your own species to protect you, but for some reason you've been laid out there, naked and abandoned and on your own. So, hats off to you for, coming back from this experience and being the person you are. And for those who don't know, that you've got your master's degree in family counseling and therapy, psychotherapy. So you're a person of some rapport. But what you did manage to write about, though, was that you came to a metanoia where you believed that you had come to Earth for a particular purpose. Now, how does that dovetail with this rather horrifying experience that you experienced, and how your psychological evolution took place?
It's come to my knowledge at this point in time that this is a rather isolated experience for myself. I may have had a couple of these. I may have had more, but thankfully don't remember anything about it. Most of my experiences are loving and gentle and kind. However, sometimes maybe a little bit scary for me. But learning to work with that trauma to come and be able to speak to the beings without having that fight or flight reaction immediately is like my goal and my purpose here. And honestly, I'm being pushed very hard to help others come to that point as well. Mm-hmm. If we are to have open communication with intelligences that may not be from here, we need to be thinking clearly as possible. And we cannot do that if we have an adrenaline rush going through the body. Once we hit fight or flight, we can no longer think clearly and logically and things like that. And so that really, to me, is where we need to be. And of course, this is where I have gotten through my entire journey to this point.
Well, I was going to say, and it's people like you that are having these type of experiences in this life that you will be more equipped to handle situations in the future that could very, very easily happen. The time is right for all of this type of energy to move forward. This show, the imho.love show, is, in my humble opinion, .love, and we are offering this type of information to people because I don't know where else you get it. You know what I mean? It's like, and our main focus is that through prayer and meditation and understanding that our ET family does love us, and the communication that they abide the best with is love and innocence. So they identify that as a superior emotion or mindset, and it's pliable. And so, but what you said, if you have that fight or flight thing upon sight or whatever, you turn in, you get very animalistic. You get into survival mode, and your ethereal mindedness will often leave you to protect yourself.
Exactly.
So, but apparently, though, in our count of human beings down here, we need more people like you that understand this and could possibly be much more approachable, because a lot of your experience has reduced, some of the fear of this.
That's right, and it has been through the regressions and purposely working through the PTSD that I have encountered, or I don't even know the word for it, is instilled in me. Just reducing the feelings of anxiety, knowing how to do that, and then just putting myself out there, saying I am okay with contact. Mm-hmm. And it took me a long time to be able to do that. especially inside of those really serious experiences. But like I said, those are only when the military are involved, and that is a very small fraction of the experiences that I have.
Wow.
Right. Well, one of the things that I think the audience might be might be interested in too. You address the download, and a lot of people might not know what that is, especially if they're getting into this for the first time. And I'm sure that you have experienced the download with the number of intimate experiences you've had, or contact experiences you've had. So, for the benefit of the audience, kind of describe your experience of the download and what it might mean in a more general way to the CE5 community, for example.
So definitely the downloaded information that I have would work very well with the CE5 community, because different contactees have different information that's downloaded. Some are physics, some are mathematics, some are mechanics. Mine happens to be how the soul works, and it's very, very quantum physics driven. From what I have been told and my understandings of how, I don't even use the word past life anymore because it's a misnomer. It's all concurrent lives in different space-time locations. We have multiple selves that are functional and living right now in different places and times, and we can work together as a team. And as we raise our vibration up, we can enter into that higher self or full soul mentality, and that is a goal that we are working towards. And so that really is the downloaded information, is how to contact my other selves, how to help other people contact their other selves, to work together as a team, heal any wounds that may have accrued, learn lessons that one may have for the other, receive gifts, and things like that.
Wow. And your download in particular was essentially to help people. Did that have any part of it?
Absolutely. I think that's all of everything that I have been told is how to help people, because of the nature of I like a soul, starseed. My soul is not necessarily an earthbound soul. It comes from someplace else, and because of that, I came here for a reason, and that reason is to help Earth at this time.
Wow.
Have you thought about vivid dreams? And I'm sure you've had them, whether they're ET or not, and how this dovetails with your paranormal or your extraterrestrial experiences.
Oh yes, I've had so many dreams of being in a different place. Whether it's I've had a lot of underwater experiences where I'm living underwater. I'm a being that is fully immersed, not amphibian or anything, just being a marine animal of some sort. I have, and the dreams become so vivid. I have been taken, I remember this one particular dream, I was taken to like a shipwreck, and at the shipwreck I could taste the metal through my skin.
Oh, wow.
And then I was taken to plastic, like, the plastic island that we have created in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Or is it Atlantic? I don't know.
It's in the Pacific.
I've been taken there, and I've been able to taste the chemicals there. And so I'm not exactly sure what I was being taught, but I definitely was able to, you don't taste in dreams.
Right.
You don't.
That's interesting.
And you definitely don't taste through your skin.
Yeah. Well, did these vivid dreams start after contact, or were you having them before contact?
I've never not had contact, so I can't really answer that.
That's a good point. Well, yeah, very good. One of the things you mentioned that we talked about, off the air last week was the fact that we both took the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters and Extraordinary Experiences, FREEZE, test, the first 2 or 3 tests that they did in creating the not only the book Beyond UFOs, but their scientific experiment, which basically breaks down the contact experience and how it pans out over the kinds of contacts and the kinds of beings that people have had experiences with. So a little bit for the audience, how did you get involved with that? What brought you to decide to take that, become part of that experiment?
I was at one of the UFO conferences here in town. I believe it was Kathy Martin that was talking about the test, and I was able to go online and get the first survey, and I filled it out, and then I was emailed the second survey, and I filled that out and sent it back, and just because I know that this is really important. Contactees have got to get their information out. We have got to stick together and stand up together to say this is real, this is happening, and study us, because obviously there's something a little bit different going on here. I did not finish the third level because I was way overwhelmed by the information I would have had to have recalled for it, and I just could not bring myself to do it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Monty Python skit where you decide you're going to have dinner, and you have dinner, and then all of a sudden the last course comes and they say just one thin mint, just one thin mint.
It's Whopper.
It's like no, I can't do that. I've been through 3,000 mints already. I don't want another.
Mr. Creosote.
But the interesting thing about the findings of Rudy Schild and Ray Hernandez and Edgar Mitchell and that group was that even with, and this is what amazed me about it, is that even with the negative contact and connotations that come with the abductees, the part of these 3,000 people that took this test, that 84% after 10 years felt that their experience was a positive one. And I would have felt going in that it might have been the exact opposite. But I think that was the most amazing finding that Beyond UFOs addresses and comes to in the experience. How do you feel about that finding?
I love it. I think it's wonderful that that's what that finding was. And, as I have wrestled with the fears that I talked about, and the scary experiences and some of this trauma that I have endured through contact, it is always outweighed by the loving and gentle and educational aspects of contact. And in the book, at one point in time, I contemplate, what is the agenda here? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to get from us? And then all I can think of is, well, what are the messages that we receive? And the messages we receive across the board as experiencers are: take care of the planet, love one another, don't wage war. And I'm thinking, those cannot be bad.
Yeah.
Those things are bad. So,
Well, before we get to the dirty little secret, which I found the most amazing and remarkable part of your book, and it's well titled. This past week I watched a couple of lectures by Dr. Donald Hoffman.
Wow.
I managed 2 hours of
Thanks for that.
2 hours of Hoffman. My candle is still burnt. But, he ends up, there's a mathematical formula that he and his team has worked on that essentially says that the math leads to a singular intelligent source. And I know that you mentioned source in your book, so maybe why don't you comment on that and how you feel about what we understand generally as source. Other people call it other things, but I think source is a pretty good name for it.
Yes, and I think the name that I was given at the time when it was coming into my mind was prime mover. So there was a first being or creator, and in order to express himself and feel himself, he, and I use he, just as a euphemism, split a little bit of his self so that he could reflect and look back at himself. And this, as I described how the soul works with the fractured self and returning to the one soul, this is just one iteration out of many, like a fractal coming down from source. So, we are all connected. We are all one being. We have just become more finite as the splitting occurs. It's really hard to describe on the telephone.
Erin,
I can see it in my mind just fine.
What was it? You said prime. What was it? Prime?
Prime mover.
Prime Mover. That was the name of the force given to you?
Yeah.
I like it. I like Prime Mover.
Yeah, well, actually, it'd be like the Tao. It's the prime creator. It's we're all talking about the same thing, and I find it really amazing that Hoffman came to it mathematically, even though there's so many atheists in this whole movement. But when the math starts showing you the direction, you can't ignore it. And maybe he's wrong. Maybe he's totally wrong. But at least it's out there, and we can look at this from our own experiences as contactees and experiencers, and verify that from our own experience. Whether it's an ayahuasca, you're meeting the mother value of that source, or whether it's the transcendental contact itself that occurs with CE5 and the contact experiencers. That what unites us with those entities we come in contact with, you can feel it in your heart, and when you can feel it in your heart, you're feeling the source and the love that the source has for its own creation, that's united through other parts of its own creation, just like what's going on here.
Nice.
Absolutely.
So before we run out of time, entertain my prurient interests, and let's talk a little bit about the Blue Room.
Yeah, if our listeners have tuned in for 2 weeks, they really want to know what the dirty little secret and the Blue Room scenario is. And we're on Facebook Live right now. We're not on terrestrial radio, so if you need to be descriptive, go ahead. There's no
censorship here.
We're not being censored thus far, anyway.
Right. Well, that's good, because the Blue Room is definitely the most uncensored experience I've ever had.
Okay.
I'm not going to say I've lived a sheltered life, but I have never been very experimental when it comes to sex. Mm-hmm. And just over the last year, and I was married. I am no longer married. And this, the divorce is final in a couple weeks. But this Blue Room experience that I had back in January, December of last year,
2019.
is the reason why that the marriage broke up, because of the confusion that happened. I found myself in this room that was tinted blue. It was very much the same type of room that I'm used to, with the rounded doorways, and so I knew I was on ship, and I was on a bed, and there were several people on beds like I was, or tables, and we were being, I don't know if we were being used as training for hybrids that are about to enter Earth as adults, and like, how do you please a woman? How do you make them orgasm? What do you do? How do you touch? I don't know if that's what was going on, or if it was just copulation for creation of babies. I don't know, because I could not see the partner that I was with. But lots of sex in this room that was blue. And that's why it's called the Blue Room. And I had multiple nights in this place.
Mm-hmm. And now this is somewhere you would go during a sleep session? Or
yeah, I'd be asleep and be in, so it felt very much like a dream. However, being there night after night, I know that it's not a dream.
Okay. So, and who were your partners? Was it the Greys? Was it humanoids? What was your?
They looked human. I think I may know at least one of them. So it's mixed. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this. I really don't know exactly what was going on in this Blue Room, but I know that copulation was prolific, and I know that there were probably multiple reasons, whether it was teaching somebody how to do it, or the fertilization of eggs.
Wow, it really is amazing. There are times that I think about our existence as humans, and the whole sex cycle is so big and so powerful. And to hear your story, that it actually spans the universe, and it's important on different planes as well. And of course, I'm I'm trying to take it out of its somewhat stuffy American Christian box and realize it for what it, truly is and what it can be. And as this sexual energy really transcends all through our atmosphere, our earth, and beyond, is really amazing that it's such a intense and intentive topic that it really is like one of those absolute meanings of life.
Well, yeah. Well, sexuality, sexual encounters, if done correctly, create an altered state. Mm-hmm. Whether it's orgasmic or ejaculatory or not, whether it's a recycling of energy between two people through the sexual organs, as Lao Tzu taught. But it is an altered state, and some people don't get that. It's just, that altered state is as real as a dream state, a vivid dream state. I mean, these are all separate realities that all come to gravitas in each one of us, and we all have the power to expand that gravitas and share it with others. And it's not unusual. I mean, the stories are legion about human beings having mated with Pleiadians and the Nordics. I mean, that's really no surprise. So, that you've had the blue room experience with through multiple experiences in the dream state. Is just amazing. I mean, I don't negate dream states anymore. Since Contact, I myself have had vivid dreams to the point where it's more real, and there's a better memory after the dream than I have in my waking reality at times. That's how profound they are. So,
Right.
Well,
Yeah. It's hard for a contactee to kind of explain that to others, but if you've lived it and you understand it, it is more real in those states than it is here. And that's when I would wake up or come to from the state and having been in the blue room, my first thought goes, don't they understand that this is impacting my marriage? It's ruining my marriage.
Wow.
And it really did.
Wow.
I mean, that's just one of the things, but it led to the very end, like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Well, it's all part of a continuum anyhow. So, it just is what it is. I mean, we float through life just like, water through a canyon, and, the water can't hold onto the sides of the canyon for very long. And we just are gifted with the other water molecules we get to flow down the river with. So, sometimes you get parted. So that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, all been there, man. All been there. And Erin, I'm sorry that, that such an ethereal move cost you such a societal price. It's interesting, but apparently, these kind of things happen, and Mike and I really can't thank you enough for sharing your experiences through the book, and the little blue room thing. I mean, the imagination of being and your sexuality, it really is so very, very strong. It's interesting that you covered this journey with your readers, and you admitted or shared with us this.
I confessed.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was reading the book, and I'm waiting for the smut, and instead of real smut, you get joy. So it's like joy and transcendence. It's like, wait a minute, what happened? I was looking for the dirty little secret, and it's like as pristine as virgin wool.
I was looking for steaming, arcing ropes of jism, but no.
We've both worked with those kind of clubs.
Yeah.
So it's sad.
It's like
sad on our part.
Was there like a big alien cock subculture or anything? He's a tall gray. You know how the tall grays are. It's just that little Mons Venus in the front just pops open. Well,
and never trust them when they ask you to do a threesome. That's their idea of that.
I don't think I talked about that in the book.
No, you have to make it in the sequel. So, now that we've kind of desensitized America and all the ships at sea to what good stuff can actually happen out there, and the transcendence and becoming part of the universe and the universal being. So nothing could be better. And
looking passionately into their great big black eyes.
That's why this thing is smiling.
He knows. He knows. Can you see our new friend Erin?
No, right now I can't. I can.
When you watch, you will.
Yeah.
And if you think of a name, we're letting the audience name him. So
okay.
Him or her or
the
being. So, Erin, thank you so much again. The name, and here's what the cover looks like: Confessions of an Alien Contactee, Dirty Little Secret. Thank you, Debbie, for my copy. I got forwarded a nice copy, and thank you very, very much for that. It was really good. And thanks for being on the imho.love show. You'll find the show on YouTube and Facebook Live, and, of course, the homepage, imho.love, and on our permanent platform, BitChute, BITCHUTE, BitChute.com. Look for imho.love. Thank you so much, Erin. It was awesome. You are cool.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Very good, very good. So stay in touch and good luck.
And come on out to the ranch sometime. We'd love to have you.
You have an open invitation to the ranch. It's
sweet.
We've had some really, really beautiful experiences here every week for many years now. So it's really going well. So thank you.
Absolutely. I bet I'll make it out there soon.
There you go.
Love and peace. Thank you, Erin.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Erin Montgomery. She's the author of book Dirty Little Secret, The Confessions of an Alien Contactee. That was interesting, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Doesn't get any better than that.
And the fact that...
And we've had some interesting people on this
show.
Yes,
we have.
You know?
And the fact that the actual sexual pleasure and the actual sexual triumph is joy and happiness and like a calmness, not the crazy ejaculoids that is sold to us by Hollywood. And,
yeah. Everything's,
Is ejaculate a word?
Yeah, well, I think we got a name for him.
No, I wouldn't do that to him.
No.
Hey, ejaculate. No,
sorry. That's off the table. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But it's sad. They've turned sex into pornography.
Yeah, it really is a shame.
Yeah,
it really is a shame. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the imho.love show. Thank you for all your loves. Thank you for all your likes. My birthday page, thank you so much. My gosh, you guys are absolutely awesome. I don't know, it'll take me a couple days to say thank you to everybody, but I will do my best to send you a love. Thanks so much. Please like and subscribe to the channel on Facebook and on YouTube when you watch it there. Feel free to share it, especially a topic like this, which is really, look about a slice of information if you're looking for, I don't know where else you're going to find it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. This is our new friend, our new being. See, he's nice. He's kind of got that little Dr. Seuss face. I like him a lot. Thank you, Mom and Nancy, for getting that for me, my sister Michelle. And thanks for all the birthday love and all the birthday presents. Hey, like we say every week, use your head, trust your gut, and your heart will take you home. And we'll see you next Wednesday night. It's going to be the day after the election.
Yeah, and buy the book, okay?
Yeah, buy the book.
It's a worthy cause, a worthy author, and you'll love the read. So
it is a nice read. All right, thanks everybody. Hey, thanks everybody. We love you a lot. Sweet dreams, y'all. We'll finish it up now. Sorry about that sound thing in the beginning.